Hey guys, I'm back here with another Anatomy with Alan. So today we're going to be talking about the immune system. So the function of the immune system is to fight off different pathogens within the body. Um, and there are quite a few terms that are important. So I'll go over them right now. So the first one, you got a pathogen, so that's a disease-causing organism. It also includes bacteria. Then you have an antigen, which increases stimulation to an immune response. Then you got the innate immune system, so that's a non-specific immune system. Then you have the adaptive immune system, which is antigen-specific. Um, then you got antibodies, and that's a special protein that signals the body of present antigens to be destroyed. Then you also have B cells, which another name for them are helper T cells. So those are white blood cells, and they produce antibodies and help with immunological memory. And then we've got T cells, which are white blood cells. They help B cells kill infected cells. Then you got the humoral immunity, which is the adaptive immune defense, depending on the action of the antibodies. Then you have the cell-mediated immunity, which is an adaptive immunity. Adaptive immune defense. Where foreign cells are destroyed by the T cells. And then you have a virus, which is a non living particle. It's made up of protein and either DNA, RNA, or both, they infect living cells. And then you have a vaccine, which it's usually a killed or weakened form of a pathogen that produces immunity when it enters the body. So we're going to be talking about the different types of immune systems that we do have. So to start off, the first one is the innate immune system. So with this one, it's not really specific toward one single pathogen. It's more so of a barrier of defense. So there's two lines of defense. The first line of defense is the skin. So that's the physical barrier. It keeps the pathogens out. We do have openings, but the way that those openings protect us is from producing saliva, mucus, tears, and they also have enzymes that break down those bacterial cell walls. And then the second line of defense we have is when the pathogen does get through that first line, an inflammatory response occurs. So when the pathogen stimulates the response, it increases blood flow to the area. Then you got the blood vessels expand, and when that happens, white blood cells leak out of the vessels to fight the bacteria. And when the pathogen does invade, the immune system may also increase the body temperature and may produce a fever. So when that happens, it may slow or even stop the pathogens from spreading. Yeah. Then you have the adaptive immune system, which this one is specific for each pathogen. So when the body comes across a new pathogen, it's stored within the immunological memory just in case our body does come across it again. So then it would be much easier for our immune system to destroy it. Then you do have your humoral immunity. So this relies on actions of antibodies circulating throughout the body. So the antibody on a B cell binds to an antigen. So then when the B cell then internalizes that antigen, it presents as a specialized helper T cell, so which in turn activates the B cell. So that activated B cell grows rapidly, producing plasma cells. Then those plasma cells release antibodies into the bloodstream and memory B cells as well, which those memory B cells store information about the pathogen in order to provide that future immunity. Then you got the cell-mediated immunity. So with this, the antibodies aren't enough to fight off infections. So because of that, T cells are responsible for this type of immunity. And killer T cells inject themselves into the infected body cells and release the toxins to destroy them. And then the helper T cells activate other immune cells. And then we have viruses and the way that they replicate. So the way it starts off, it's the virus recognizes a bind and binds to a host cell through a receptor molecule on the cell surface. Then that virus or its genetic material enters through the cell, and that viral genome is copied, and its genes are made out to be viral proteins. Then those new viral particles are made from the genome copies and viral proteins. And then when that happens, the completed viral particles leave the cell, and then they go to other living cells to infect those. That's how a virus spreads. So to end off, there are quite a few interesting facts that I found and I learned in undergrad as well. So people only know about bad bacteria within the body. There's actually good bacteria as well. And that good bacteria is within the digestive tract. So what that good bacteria does, it helps digest and break down the food. And I heard this a lot growing up, where parents tell their kids to like roll to roll around in some mud to build up their immune system. That's actually true, just because the mud does contain everyday germs. So it actually can be good for the kids to strengthen their immune system. So it might be good for their immune system, but it might not be good for the parents' washers, and that it might not be good for that. So, but it's definitely good for the kids. It's shouldn't be an issue at all. And another thing, so there have been discrepancies about the flu and the vaccines that are available during the season. And from what I have gotten, because I mean everyone has their own opinion, but from what I understand, from what I have read, it seems like so every year the experts try and predict what the most prominent strain of the flu is going to be that following year. So then they basically base it off of a group of flu strains and make that vaccine for that. And sometimes people do get the vaccine and they end up getting a strain that vaccine doesn't cover. So then people are left kind of hanging because it's like, oh, what was the point of that? But so it's honestly like a hit or miss. And in recent years, the flu has been rapidly mutating, so it's a lot more difficult to be able to predict what flu strains are going to be most prominent. So it's kind of scary to think, but luckily the flu is a little bit easier to manage. But yeah, that's my take on the flu and like the way that they try and figure out the vaccines and whatnot. So yeah, that completes this session. So next week we're going to be talking about the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system works with the circulatory system and also part of the immune system. So we'll be talking about that next week. And another thing before I go, we also have a YouTube channel, and it's full of content. So subscribe to the page. There's going to be an increase of activity on there. I have some ideas for videos in the works, so hopefully I can get those soon up. So yeah, go check it out. Thank you guys.